Hi, this is Dr. Alan Widener from Massage Chair Relief, and today we are visiting with Ben Gulisano from our Arizona store customer base. And Ben, thank you so much for joining us today. It's good
You're
to have
welcome.
you, and appreciate you making time.
No problem.
Now, what people don't know is that we tried this last week, and we are both of us had terrible reception, and we couldn't get everything was breaking up. So I'm glad we rescheduled because you sound very clear now, and I think we're going to be able to get a good recording. But anyways, Vin, why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about yourself and about your massage chair experience and how you got into it.
Sure. Yeah, my wife and I are avid fitness people. We're always out, we work out, and my wife would go get massages all the time. I never did, but I was always feeling stiff and different little back, shoulder, neck issues that would come and go. So we decided to look into them. Our first set of experiences, I think I told you on the call, that didn't work out, weren't so good. We were just going online trying to buy something without trying it. They were, came damaged, and then, a couple of times, and replaced it with the wrong color. I mean, several weird things. So we finally, the one thing about it though is we sort of learned what we wanted, maybe more than the average person buying, online. So when we finally showed up at your store, and I think it was Mesa, we had a good idea of what we liked and didn't like. So Sean did a really great job of spending a couple hours with us while we sat and mulled it over and couldn't decide, do we want this? Do we want that? Sometimes there's trade-offs when you're picking different models. And we got the one that we liked, and it was luckily actually unusually in stock. So we got it that night, which was really cool.
You got the Daiwa Supreme Hybrid, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm glad you had a good experience at the store. Some people might think 2 hours, holy cow, but the time flies when you're sitting in those chairs, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, it's like you think you're only going to be there for a little while, and next thing you know, it's like, what time is it? But also, we don't put any pressure on you, so it kind of makes it an enjoyable experience also.
We didn't feel like we were annoying Sean, which was good. He was attentive when he needed to be, and he left and moved along or stayed out of the way when he didn't need to be on in front of us. So he felt comfortable.
Well, we believe, and I believe, that the chairs sell themselves, and we don't need to be pushing chairs down people's throats. When you sit in one and you have that wow experience, you'll know if the chair is right for you, and obviously it was. Now, you'd mentioned that you'd purchased another chair and went through a couple of cycles of returning and replacing, and it didn't quite work out. Was this your first time ever looking for a massage chair, or had you ever had one?
Yeah, I mean, we'd actually rented an Airbnb, and there was one there in a nice home, and we got to try it out. And then we thought, that was a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, and so we had it in our minds. And of course, I try the kind of cheap ones that are in the airport, lounges and things like that, which they start giving you a taste of what it could be. And then once we started really getting into it and trying, then we realized, this has a real impact on how we feel and how we sleep and our workouts and things like that.
Do you have a bright enough recollection of how, like, a lot of people sit in the chairs at the airport or at a nail salon or at the mall? How did those chairs compare to what you felt when you tried the premium brands, like at our store? Was it, do you remember there being a significant difference?
Significant. And, also it's a matter of what you like too. What Sean explained was there are some chairs, even in your store, that maybe aren't as aggressive. And we went for the aggressive, figuring that, we could pad it in the back if you needed to. They came with extra, levels of pads, and we could always put more in. But what's happened, I think, over the last several months that we've had it is I don't use any padding. I like it. It took me a couple of times to get used to it, but now I can get on there with the highest setting with no pads, and I'm not like popping off of it because it was a little too, too tough on your lumbar area or something like that.
It's certainly, if you're not used to a massage chair, having a strong massage chair can be shocking.
Yes.
And, so that chair, this Daiwa Supreme Hybrid, does come with a lot of pads for that very reason. Now, when we chatted before, I vaguely remember that you and your wife both had some issues that you were grateful that the chair addressed. And I think your wife's was quite remarkable. What was it that she wanted the chair for?
Yeah, she was lower back, and I was sort of neck. I actually just, 60s, all of a sudden one day you wake up and something hurts and it takes 6 months for it to go away. And you're like, what is this? And then I go to the doctors, they're like, you're old. So the massage chair, I mean, for me specifically, the Daiwa, I haven't felt one that grips your neck and almost comes up forward and grabs you. It almost feels like around your neck. And I just love that about it. I mean, for me, that's just different.
Yeah, it does a great job on the neck and shoulders. And I think your wife also had a pretty positive experience with the low back treatment as well.
Absolutely. And then she was always going to get massages at the massage chain places. And, our thinking was this would eliminate that, and it has. So, it sort of keeps her loose in the lower back and allows her to keep working out.
I'm updating my massage chair book, which I do sell on Amazon, but it is so old. It's like 10 or 11 years old. And the industry has changed so much. I'm embarrassed when I read it. But it was interesting to me how, I don't know how many people, it's changed a lot. Like back in the day, there was just the S-track chairs. And now you've got L-track chairs. Now you've got split track chairs. And varying degrees of intensity, varying degrees of size, capacity. And it's really interesting to me how the industry has changed so much. Now, the chair you have, the Daiwa has a split track, which is that's the latest, greatest technology. I think it's the greatest technology probably since the L-track was first introduced. But that really
seems that way.
It really does. It adds a whole new dimension. Do you use the stretch feature much at all on your chair?
More often than anything. Yeah.
The stretch is a nice feature.
Yeah. And again, the split, having the massage, instead of just waiting for the massage to do your neck and then go down to your thighs or your hips, to have it, or your glutes, to have both working at the same time is like double the massage in the same amount of time. So,
and that was strange for me the first time I felt it too, because you're always used to the 4 rollers moving together up and down your back. Now all of a sudden I got something going up here on my neck, something going on in my butt, and or my butt muscles, and it's a nice feature. Now, what is your favorite feature of that chair? Is there one thing that you really like, or one program?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what I mentioned it was that I put the air compression on the highest setting. I love the pressure moving up and down. You can almost feel it pushing, blood up and in and out of your forearms and your hands. I like that a real lot, and I like the way it kind of stretches your feet a little bit and your legs, on those stretching motions as well.
Is there anything on the chair that you would change, or any feature that you wish it had that it didn't have?
I'm probably too cutting edge for this, but I think massage chairs should do over-the-air program updates, because the program to me sounds like a set of instructions.
Yeah.
That they could, because as new and cool programs, someone develops them, you'd sort of have the ability to almost have a new chair every time that you had an over-the-air update. I don't know if that's anywhere in the future, but to me, that would be the coolest thing. And for the heat would be, the heat's very nice on that hybrid on your knees, a little lighter on your back.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a reason for it, but I can feel the warmth, but not hot.
Yeah, it's pretty weak on the back, I would admit. Some chairs are that way, and I don't know why it is, because the factory that chair comes from is a factory that has many chairs from many of the different premium chair brands, and some of them have great heat, some of them not strong heat. So I don't know if there's a reason for it because of the technology or whatever. I don't know, but that chair, the heat is a little weak. But the over-the-air thing, there's only one chair that we're aware of that actually has that, and it's just brand new. It just came out. Not the chair, but that technology they integrated into an upgrade of a pre-existing model. And I suspect we're going to see more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because if really you have a chair that a year from now could have different programs that you never had before, experience new massages. Be very interesting.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, one of the things they can even change on this one chair is they can make the chair more intense or less intense. They can adjust how deep the rollers go by default. You know, like when you sit in your chair, the default is this certain amount of intensity. Well, what if it's just too unbearable for anybody to handle? Well, wouldn't it be cool if they could adjust the default, even at the lowest setting, if it's too high, they can adjust that even lower. So
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of advantages to this over the air business. And I think we're going to see more of it.
Interesting.
Now, tell me a little bit about your lifestyle. Like, are you a pretty active guy still? Are you? I mean, you and I are about the same age. Are you still pretty active?
Yes, I still work out 6 days a week. I lift 3 days a week. I run, bike or no running anymore. My knee gave up on that, but biking and Peloton, rowing machine, and then of course outdoor. We travel in a Sprinter van a lot, my wife and I, and like an RV type of Class B Sprinter van. So we're trying to stay in shape so that when we go out in the van for a week or so, we can go out there and hike 5-10 miles and not be knocked out from it,
Yeah,
not be all sore from it.
absolutely. One of the growing topics in the massage chair world is using chairs not just for pain relief, but stress relief, and now for recovery. So, do you find that you've used your chair at all after you've had a workout?
I do. And again, because I'm working out so often, I'm using the chair every day. Sometimes pre-workout, I find I'm a little looser,
Mhm.
especially if I'm doing like, my back muscles, back chain of muscles, my glutes. I'm looser when I start the workout than I am when I don't. It's just a matter of, do I have the time to do it? Just even a 10-minute, loosening up. And then the recovery the night of, after I've worked out before I go to bed, I just find it sort of helps me sleep better, uh,
Yeah.
which is a connection probably to the whole sleep side of it as well.
Well, I think your wife also mentioned something about the sleep too, I think. So it sounds like that did benefit you.
Yeah, we don't like taking, any type of medications for sleep.
Yeah.
Uh, and as you get older, maybe sleep gets harder to
Yeah.
be as consistent. So, if you work out a lot and you're not in any pain, you're going to sleep pretty well. And we get in that chair, and I'll, if I get in it sometimes at 10:30 at night for a half-hour massage, I'm wiped out. I'm half asleep in the chair
Boy,
and pretty relaxed. I
that
just
is
did that
great.
last night.
Well, when I got into business, I just figured they were good for back pain, neck pain, because I had one in my chiropractic clinic. And that's what I thought people just sat in it because they liked it, like it was fun, but it actually helped with pain. But it's interesting, as I've met more people that have tried the chairs out, I hear more and more of things that, like, health benefits that I had no idea. Like, some people say they can breathe deeper. That's a fairly common one. The sleep is one that I didn't know could help. I mean, it makes sense. Massage relaxes you, you're going to sleep better. But sometimes when people use a chair, they're surprised at the benefits they get from the chair. They weren't planning on that.
Right.
And I don't know if you've had that experience, but maybe
Not, I wasn't expecting that it would help with sleep, and it definitely
yeah.
has. I wasn't thinking about it for recovery. I was thinking about it more for injury, like you were saying, like
Yeah.
my neck hurts, and now I've got something to go into and try and work it out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to use it, and we are using it consistently for recovery and before bed.
Yeah.
And I have been, sometimes just a matter of schedule and how much time do you have, but the refresh, the recovery, program is what I use after I work out, and then like the refresh in the morning just to sort of, kind of get your day going. But you don't have time to sometimes get into it 3 times in a day.
I got a life, man.
Yeah.
I can't be sitting in your bloody chairs all day long. Now, for someone who is in the shoes that you were once in, looking for a massage chair, and based on your experience, what kind of advice would you give someone who's looking for a massage chair?
I mean, my whole business is online purchasing. I'm in the warehouse and fulfillment business. So other companies will ship their product to me, and I'll help them fulfill their orders to their customers. So the advice I'm giving is the opposite of what my business does, which is I don't know that I would buy it online. Here's my wife now.
Hello again.
I wouldn't buy them online I wouldn't buy them online without having a chance to try them out. That was the one main thing. It's too hard, too big of a purchase. Not knowing whether they're a deep massage or a weak massage, or that, is a closed toe or open toe, all these different options that you may or may not like.
Or even if it fits, like for some people, it just doesn't even fit. And the chair looks great on paper, but when they bring it home or it gets delivered to their home, they don't even fit in the bloody
There's
thing.
nowhere to put
You
it.
had a couple that you were squeezed into.
Well, there was the fit in in the room, and there was the fit for my body. I'm not sure what you meant, but yeah, there was
Well,
one that we
both.
tried in the store where Sean almost kind of laughed. He said, "You look like a giant in this chair." You know, it was just a little too big. I'm 6'2", 200 plus pounds. So, yeah, there was also the physical fit.
Yeah. Now, when you were shopping, was it, what were your motivations for getting the chair? I mean, what am I trying to say? Are you strictly a price shopper, or does the peripheral stuff, is that meaningful to you, like support and availability of support and follow through and all that stuff?
Yeah. I'm horrible when it comes to being thrifty. I start out thrifty, and then I see the benefits of spending more money, and I usually end up, going for, the things that, first of all, the good solution, if you will, whatever's the best solution, the best, and then also, not, as I learned from Sean about how long is this chair going to last. What's the warranty? How easy is it to get it serviced and parts? One of the chairs that I had purchased, he was kind enough to tell me they have a real hard time getting parts for them. One of the other ones that I had, not bought at your store, that I bought online. And, so, those are things, the fact that you personally go to these factories and make sure that you're getting the right chair off the right assembly line within the same factory that might have a difference, things like that, an impact on us. So yeah, we started off a little thrifty, and we ended up probably spending twice what we originally budgeted for, to be honest. But every now and then you spend twice and you feel like you made a bad move, and sometimes you spend twice and you're like, this was the right thing, and this felt like it was the right move.
Good. Well, some people, it's just price. They just want the best deal. And, we tell them about our lifetime labor warranty, stuff that to me is crucial. If you're spending money on a chair, you want to have it for a number of years. But it's surprising to me how many people don't care about the support until they need it. And this is the thing that's interesting, is we get people that fill out our support forms that did not buy a chair from us, but they fill out our support form, which is really just for our customers. But they fill out our support form, and we call them or reach out to them and say, we don't have you in our database. Did you buy the chair from us? No, I didn't buy the chair from you, but I knew that you guys can fix it. And but they could not get a hold of the company they bought the chair from, or the company that built the chair is out of business. And there's a lot of that in our industry. There's a lot of these small time operators that bring us some chairs in. They sell them for cheap. There's no in-home warranty. Parts are very difficult to get, even though parts can be difficult for any of the brands, depending on the shipping logistics issues. But anyways, that's why I asked you, because, some people, it's just, I want a chair. You give me the best deal. Well, we have a lifetime labor warranty. Don't care. We'll give you free in-home delivery and setup if you're local. Don't care. They just want the deal. And so that's kind of where I was leaning with that question.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I always start out thinking that's what I want, until you get in there and you start trying, and you're like, what, this is a good solution. Like some of the ones we had sent to our house that were cheaper, but the difference once we sat in the Daiwa, it was kind of like, this is significantly better.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and Sammer, do you have any input?
Oh, I thought you guys were all done.
Just about.
No, I actually, pretty sure Ben must have said about his whole experience with Sean, what a fabulous experience it was having to be able to sit down in all the chairs.
Yeah.
Took so much time with us. It was wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I remember, thank you. And Sean he's a good manager. He's a good guy. I work with people that I really like, and I enjoy every one of them. But and Sean is just fantastic. But when we tried the recording last week, Sammer, you had mentioned a couple of comments that I thought were good, and I cannot remember them. I think we talked about where you had low back pain, and I thought you said your sleep was better. So I can't remember, but if there's anything that you have to say about the effects of the chair on you, I'd like to hear it.
On me? Oh, yeah. Definitely low back pain. I use it every night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
To Okay, even if it's for 10 minutes, and it just
Yeah.
relaxes you. And really, knock on wood, no lower back pain. So it's really nice. I like it. I love it.
It's the
Well-
fight for who gets in it first.
Yeah.
Usually I'll say, I'm gonna go sit in the chair. It's like, I was gonna sit in the chair.
Well, we've had people come into our showroom, couples, and we'll ask the spouse, you want, like, or here for, I'm here for my husband, I'm here for my wife, or whatever. And, or I'm here for my kids. I've had that one before. And then and then we'll offer them the other partner or spouse to sit on a chair, and they say, no, it's all for him or her. And then I find out later that it was the person that didn't want to sit in the chair that's using it all the time. And now the one that got the chair for them has to fight for that time. So I thought that was hilarious, but
That would be
I
me.
thought the chair was for me, and he's the one who takes over. Yes.
there you go. I rest my case. Well, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you. I'm glad we finally got to.
Yeah, this was much easier, man, than driving 60 miles an hour down the road with a camera on.
Yeah.
And the reception's been way better. So thank you very much. And I
welcome.
appreciate your time. And you know, once this is posted on YouTube, people will watch your video. The hybrid is a popular chair, and people enjoy watching these interviews because it's legit. It's not me saying the chair is good or me saying that massage chair leaf is a good choice. This is you. This is the real customer, and obviously it's not fake. So we really
No.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Well, you bet. And by the way, I noticed today you sent in a note about getting your connectivity issue resolved.
Yeah, I lost my Bluetooth. I wasn't gonna say it on the video.
No, that's okay. If that doesn't get resolved or you have a problem, you let me know.
When I called them about the massage heat, they called me, they were on me because I called them and then I had to leave for travel and they were calling me every day. What about the heat? What about the heat? What about the heat? And then
good.
finally I got back from my trip and we resolved it and said, because you could feel it warms up, but like we said earlier, it didn't get hot.
Yeah.
So I'm very certain they'll follow up with my email this morning. Yeah, because it
Well,
was there and then it just disappeared on my phone and I couldn't seem to figure out what the process was to get it to activate the Bluetooth.
Well, if you don't, if you're having trouble getting back from
I will
them-
call you now that we're friends.
Yeah. You know where I live. All right, you guys, it's good to visit with you. Thanks again for your time.
You're welcome.
We'll see you.
See you.
Bye.